Did you know that 60% of millennials don't have enough money saved to handle a $1,000 emergency? Well, according to research, 6 out of 10 millennials say they don't have enough money stashed away to cover a $1,000 emergency, which means that they will have to resort to borrowing money, using their credit cards, or selling something like their couch or their TV just to come up with the money to cover an unexpected event of that magnitude. Now, before you think you're getting away because you're not a millennial and you don't fall into the same group of irresponsible and lazy 20 to 30-year-olds, let me tell you that the same research also shows that Gen Xers are only slightly better off than millennials, with about 50% of them being able to handle a $1,000 emergency using cash or their savings. And although baby boomers look the best out of the 3 generations, still 40% of them would have to go and borrow money just to be able to pay for the same $1,000 emergency in cash. So instead of looking at it as a generational problem, we need to start looking at it as a societal problem. The problem is that as a society, we're not being taught the importance of putting away money for your retirement or for when a rainy day comes. And sure, when things are bad and we lost our jobs or we're in the middle of a recession, we all suddenly know how to save money and we only use it to buy essential stuff. But as soon as those bad times start turning around and we get a little bit more optimistic, we tend to go back to spending as we would normally would, and we completely forget about saving. And that's exactly why I created this video. I want to give you a couple of simple tricks that you can follow so that way you save money during the good times and the bad times as well. And the cool thing about these tricks is that you'll end up saving a lot of money without even realizing that you're saving. I made sure that all of these money saving hacks are very easy to follow because I think that the simpler they are, the easier it's going to be for you to stick to them for the long term. Now, before getting into these tricks, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button just to get more videos like this one. Because on this channel, I share weekly tips to help you save more money, earn more money, and get to financial freedom faster. So without any further ado, let's dive into the video. So trick number 1 is get to know your expenses and commit to save a percentage of your income. If you want to be able to save more money, the first thing you have to do is understand how much are you currently spending. And I'm not asking you to be like super specific here down to the cents. I just want you to take the time to look at your bank statements for the past 3 to 6 months and write down how much you're spending on things like rent, utilities, groceries, maybe transportation if you own a car, insurance, drinks in restaurants, any hobbies of yours, memberships, and so on. And as I said, you don't have to be super specific here. All I'm asking you to do is to ballpark those expenses. And don't worry, this is not about creating a budget, because I understand that most people don't actually like creating a budget because they see it as something that is complicated or something that takes too much time. And if that's your case, you'll probably end up giving up on it, and that's not the idea of this exercise. Okay, so once you ballpark your expenses, I want you to go ahead and compare that to your income. If you're spending the same or more than what you're taking home, simply take a look at the areas where you can cut back and commit to doing so. Maybe spending $500 a month on drinks and restaurants is a bit too much and you can cut some of that out. Or maybe paying for an overpriced gym membership that you don't use more than 4 times a month doesn't make any sense. So go ahead and find a cheaper place to work out. You get the point. You have 2 goals here. First, figure out where you can cut some of your expenses. And second, find out how much you can afford to save every month. Once you've done that, we can move on to point number 2, which is pay yourself first. I understand that if you're just getting started in the real world, saving might seem like something that's impossible to do. You have rent to pay, groceries, a car payment, maybe some student loans, and sure, you would like to save, but there's simply no money left at the end of the month. Well, you see, that's the problem right there. Most people save what is left after spending. And I want you to understand that if you don't develop the habit of paying yourself first, there are always going to be excuses to delay saving. Maybe you need dental work, or you want to go on vacations with your friends to Cancun, or you're not making enough to pay your bills. So after you follow the advice on hack number 1 and you're committed to saving a percentage of your take-home pay, make sure that every time you get a paycheck, before paying any of your expenses, you transfer the amount you'd like to save to your savings account and learn to live off the rest. That money that you're setting aside, you're not allowed to spend under any circumstances. No matter what you're going through, that money cannot be spent. It can only be invested. I want you to consider it to be part of your taxes, something that you have to pay whether you like it or not. And I want you to get into that mindset because that money that you're putting aside will become your ticket to financial freedom. And as I said before, and I will say it again, Always remember, don't save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Okay, moving on to number 3, you need to start saving incrementally. If you never had the habit of setting some money aside, it's always better if you start doing it progressively. Instead of going from saving absolutely nothing to saving 30% of your paycheck every single month, I recommend that you start by committing to save 10% of your take-home pay and then increase it by 1 to 2% every month until you get to the desired amount that you would like to save. This makes it way more manageable and it will help you stay in it for the long term. Think about it like this. You're thinking about running your first marathon, but you never ran in your life. Well, if you go out there and you try to run 20 miles during the first day, most likely you won't be able to do it. And not only that, you'll probably be so sore during the next couple of days that you'll completely give up on the idea of running that marathon. So how do you get to that goal if you never ran before? Well, you start slow and increase the level of effort as your physical condition improves. You start off by walking a mile 3 times a week. Then the next week, you increase that to 2 miles 3 times a week. And the week after that, you run the first mile and then you walk off the second mile. And you'll continue to do that until you're able to run 26 miles without stopping. And it should work the same way when it comes to saving your money. Sure, it's gonna take you more time to reach your goal by saving incrementally, but also you're gonna be less likely to quit. And the cool thing about this hack is it even works for those who are already saving a lot of money. If you're one of those and you're already saving everything you can, I want you to apply this same technique and commit to saving an extra 1 to 2% every single month for the next 6 months. You'll be surprised when you get to save an extra 5 to 10% without you even realizing it. What makes this technique works is that the saving increments are so small that I promise you, you won't even notice all the missing money. Let's move on to hack number 4. So for hack number 4, I want you to commit to save 50% of your paycheck increases. I know it's very tempting to increase your standard of living when you start earning more money, but trust me, that's gonna be your greatest enemy when it comes to building wealth. So what I recommend you do every time you get a raise is that you commit at least 50% of that raise towards your financial future, and the rest you can spend however you like. There are plenty of ways that you could use that raise towards your financial future. If you haven't started an emergency fund, use that extra money to start one. And if you already have an emergency fund, why not try to expand it? You can also consider increasing your 401k contributions, especially if your employer offers a match. You can also contribute more money into your Roth IRA. Yeah, you will have to pay taxes on those contributions, but when the time comes to withdraw them, they're completely tax-free. Another thing you can do is you can pay off any debt that you might have. That way, you're gonna be wasting less money on interest while also improving your credit score. I know it's not easy to forgo money in your pocket to bulk up a savings account or a retirement account that you won't see for decades. But trust me, that's the smartest thing you can do with that extra income. Okay, so money hack number 5 is start using apps that will help you save more money on every purchase you make. This one is a really easy way of saving and investing your money. I personally use an app called Acorns, but there's another one that's pretty similar that's called Capital. Once you download these apps, every time you make a purchase with your credit card or your debit card, they'll round up your purchase to the nearest dollar amount and they'll save and invest your spare change. Let's say you buy a cup of coffee for $2.85. Well, the app would round it up to $3 and invest those remaining 15 cents automatically for you. It doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it adds up quickly. I've been using Acorns for about a year and a half now, and my account has grown to over $1,700. If you feel like giving Acorns a try, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below, and once you create an account, you're gonna get $5 absolutely for free. All you have to do is click the link below, set up your account, and you'll get the $5 for free. Moving on to hack number 6, I want you to pay every purchase you make with credit cards. Well, I'm guessing that you like free money, because who doesn't? I covered this hack in one of my previous videos, but if you haven't come across it, here it is again. There are some cards out there that will give you free money every time you swipe them. So go ahead and start doing your research and find a credit card that gives you a good amount of cash back every time you use it. Me personally, I use Bank of America's Cash Reward credit card because it gives me up to 3% cash back on some of the purchases I make. The cool thing about this credit card is that it allows you to choose which category you would like to earn 3% cash back in. And no matter what you decide, you'll automatically earn 2% cash back at grocery stores, plus unlimited 1% cash back on all other purchases. So that means that every time you purchase something, you're essentially getting paid. By doing this, I'm able to get around $150 every 6 months in cash back. So I encourage you to go and try it for yourself, but please, if you're gonna do this, never ever buy something just because you're gonna get cash back on your purchase. That completely defeats the purpose of this video. Don't go out there and get a $100 shirt that you don't need just because you're gonna get $3 back. If you're disciplined enough, use a credit card as if it were your debit card, only purchase the things you need, and every single month, make sure you pay your credit card balance in full. Okay, by now we covered 6 hacks and we have 3 more hacks to go. The next 3 hacks are more like mind shifts to help you make better purchasing decisions and therefore help you save more money. So hack number 7 is that I want you to procrastinate on your spending. See, when I'm about to make larger purchases, and by that I mean anything that goes above $100, what I do is I try to make myself wait it out a little bit. Depending on the size of the purchase, sometimes I make myself wait a day. For some other purchases, I make myself wait a couple days, and for others, I wait longer than a week. And here's why. Because us as humans, we get really excited when we're gonna buy something new, even if it's something that we don't need. But once you get it and time passes, that excitement completely goes away. It's like when you buy a new phone or a new pair of shoes. During the first couple of days, you might be all excited about what you just got, but after a while, you know what happens. Everything starts to feel normal again. So why not get into the habit of waiting a couple days before you buy things, especially expensive things? This little hack will help you cut down on impulse purchases that you make without you even realizing it. You'll still be buying the things you need, but there are gonna be plenty of times where you end up holding onto your cash instead of making that impulse purchase. A couple weeks ago, I came across a video by Graham Stephan where he talks exactly about this point. He mentions that he found some research that says that when we shop, our brain releases dopamine, and when we release this chemical, we get the sensation of happiness and well-being. I decided to take a look at the research myself, and I was impressed to find out that the real dopamine hit doesn't come from actually buying the item that you're gonna get, but instead, it comes from the anticipation of buying the item itself. Which is funny because it basically means that you don't have to go and shop for something to get the same dopamine hit. You can go around the mall and just window shop and feel the same thing. And if you're that much of a shopaholic that you need to be constantly buying new things to get that sense of happiness, why not buy something that will help your financial future instead of something that you'll end up throwing away? So here's a little trick for you. If you're after that dopamine hit, go ahead and buy some dividend stocks or some index funds. That's exactly what I do, and I get the same excitement as if I were buying new clothes or some new cool speakers. I don't know, give it a try. You might be surprised. So moving on to hack number 8, I want you to play the daily balance game. This is something that I do when I want to kick my savings game up a notch. After you pay yourself first every month and you set aside money for fixed expenses like rent, utilities, transportation, and insurance, you're going to be left with a dollar amount that's going to be your spending money for that month. This is money that you'll use to spend for things like groceries, eating out, entertainment, gifts, you name it. Let's say that amount comes to $750. Well, you're gonna take that number and you're gonna divide it by the amount of days of that month to get your daily allowance. So if you're playing this game in November, you go ahead and divide $750 by 30 days, which is gonna leave you with $25 to spend every day for that month. The key is to try to spend less than $25 every single day and transfer the remaining amount to your savings account at the end of each day. Now, of course, there's going to be some days where your daily expenses surpass your daily allowance, which is almost the case when I have to go and get groceries. So what I do is I still go to the grocery store, but I only buy the things that I really need. Because if I exceed those $25, I'm going to be borrowing from the next day's daily allowance. Let's say that on a Monday you go to the grocery store and you spend $65 on food for the rest of the week. Well, you're going to be spending $25 of today's daily allowance, $25 of tomorrow's, and $15 of Wednesday's, which is going to leave you with $0 to spend today and tomorrow and $10 to spend on Wednesday. So I keep that in mind and I make sure to eat at home for the next couple of days instead of grabbing something to eat on my way home. I really like this game because it helps me always be aware of how much money I'm spending. And with that, we finally got to hack number 9, which is that I want you to calculate the price of every item that you purchase in working hours. This is a mental math tactic that really helps you think like a saver. Of course, it only works if you get paid by the hour. All you have to do is next time you're gonna make a purchase, take the price of the item that you're gonna purchase and divide it by your hourly wage. For example, let's say that you're making $20 an hour and you're considering buying new Bose speakers for your living room, which sell for $349. And after taxes, they come up to $374. Well, you grab that final price of $374 and you divide it by $20, which is your hourly wage. That should come to 18.7 hours. Now go ahead and ask yourself if those speakers are really worth you having to work 19 hours, because that's almost half of your working week. Sometimes your purchases are going to be worth working those hours and sometimes they won't be. But this exercise will help you make that choice. And that's it. Those are the 9 simple money hacks that saved me a lot of money, and I hope they save you a lot of money too. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and feel free to share it with anyone who you think it would benefit from watching it. As always, thanks for checking out the video and checking out the channel. I do appreciate all the support you're giving me in such a short period of time. In the end, I love creating this sort of videos, and just by knowing that I've impacted at least one person who watched it, that makes my day right there. So if you found value in this video, or you're gonna start applying something that you learned today in your everyday life, let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure I'll respond to each one of you. Again, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.